They say he was the greatest bodybuilder of all time, 7-time Mr. Olympia, a Hollywood superstar, a governor, a man who still inspires millions around the world. But what if this story isn't only about victories? What if it's also about the shadow that followed them? Was Arnold truly a hero? Or rather a perfectly crafted product of his own will? A will that sometimes crossed the line? This video is not hate. It's an honest look at a man who rewrote the rules of the game, but not always cleanly. This journey won't be just about poses and medals. It will be about a man, about Arnold Schwarzenegger, a name known all over the world, not just because of Hollywood or politics. First and foremost, he was a bodybuilder who changed the game, a figure who shaped generations, redefined aesthetics, and turned bodybuilding into a global phenomenon. He was born on July 30th, 1947, in Thal, Austria. From an early age, he had a clear vision. He wanted to become the greatest bodybuilder in the world. At 14, he began weightlifting. At 15, he started training seriously. At 17, he entered his first bodybuilding competition. And in 1965, at just 18 years old, he won Mr. Europe Junior. From that moment on, his path became a relentless sequence of victories and records. In 1967, at only 20 years old, he became the youngest Mr. Universe in history. That was the moment all of Europe started paying attention, but Arnold wanted more. In 1968, he moved to the United States, barely speaking English, and began training under Joe Weider, the man considered the godfather of modern bodybuilding. The real turning point came in 1970, when Arnold won Mr. Olympia for the first time, the most prestigious bodybuilding competition in the world. He was just 23 years old, becoming the youngest Mr. Olympia in history at the time. He went on to win the title 7 times in total, from 1970 to 1975, and again in 1980. And he didn't just win, he dominated. Legends like Sergio Oliva, Lou Ferrigno, and even his close friend Franco Columbu couldn't stop him. Their size and genetics weren't enough. Arnold won through symmetry, posing, charisma, and total control over both the audience and the judges. Physically, he was revolutionary for his era. 188 centimeters tall, around 106 kilograms in contest shape. Arms over 54 centimeters, a wide chest, narrow waist, and an exceptional sense of aesthetics. Arnold didn't look like a machine, he looked like a statue. And his posing was unmatched. He spent hours perfecting transitions, posture, facial expressions, something almost unheard of at the time. That's why he became the symbol of the bodybuilding golden era of the 1970s. But Arnold was never just about the body. Even back then, he understood how the world worked. He carefully built his image, appearing on television, in advertisements, working with the media. He proved that bodybuilding could be more than a sport. It could be a show, a brand, a lifestyle. His charisma helped push bodybuilding into the mainstream, and it all culminated in the film Pumping Iron, 1977, documenting the preparation for the 1975 Mr. Olympia. The movie portrayed Arnold as a competitive genius, confident, humorous, but also psychologically ruthless. That film turned him into an icon far beyond the bodybuilding world. After retiring from competition, he transitioned seamlessly into film, and once again redefined success. His first major role came with Conan the Barbarian in 1982, but the true breakthrough arrived with The Terminator in 1984. From bodybuilder to actor, from actor to global superstar, and yet, he never turned his back on bodybuilding. For years, he has been the face of the Arnold Classic, now one of the most prestigious professional competitions in the world. He reinvested money, attention, and credibility back into the sport. And in 2015, as a former governor of California, he even supported fitness programs for children. Simply put, Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't just a champion, he changed the very definition of what it means to be a bodybuilder. He pulled bodybuilding out of the underground and into pop culture. He combined physical power with mental discipline and built a myth that still lives on today. No matter what you think of him, one thing is undeniable. On stage, he was one of the greatest of all time. And that stage is where his path toward immortality began. Arnold's rise was breathtaking. His body looked like a sculpture. His mind like that of a calculated winner. And his charisma shattered the boundaries between bodybuilding, film, and politics. But where ambition and power reach their peak, flaws become visible too. Arnold was never just a humble athlete. He was driven, confident, and often ruthless. Even pumping iron, which was meant to glorify him, revealed more than just training. It showed competitors who felt uneasy around him. Lou Ferrigno once said Arnold was 2 steps ahead mentally. Behind the scenes, Arnold played psychological games, planting doubt, distracting rivals, using his presence to dominate before ever stepping on stage. For some, he was inspiring. For others, manipulative and unreadable. And then there's his personal life. In 2011, Arnold publicly admitted he had fathered a child with his housekeeper while married to Maria Shriver, a member of the Kennedy family. Although he eventually took responsibility, it shattered the carefully built image of a family man and role model. The revelation ended his marriage and damaged his reputation in the eyes of many. His political career as governor of California from 2003 to 2011 was, from a PR standpoint, highly polished. But controversies followed him there as well. Critics accused him of shifting opinions, adapting to audiences, and favoring popularity over firm principles. In 2003, several women accused him of inappropriate behavior prior to his election. He denied some claims and responded vaguely to others. Arnold was always a master of image. He knew exactly what to say. In business, in film, and in politics. That skill propelled him to the top. But it also weakened his credibility for some. For some, he remains an icon. For others, a product. A brand capable of selling itself under any circumstances. And here lies the contrast. A man who built an empire from nothing, and the same man who didn't always act honorably. His life shows he was as hard on others as he was on himself. No excuses, only results. But behind those results were people. Disappointed rivals, a broken family, and those who expected more than just victory. And this is where the key question begins to form. One we'll explore in the next part: can we separate Arnold, the bodybuilding legend, from Arnold, the man? The longer we examine Arnold's story, the clearer it becomes that he can't be seen as just an athlete. He is a complex phenomenon, one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, but also a man with flaws that cannot be ignored. And this leads to a crucial question. Can we admire the results while still criticizing the person behind them? With Arnold, that question is especially complicated. On one side, absolute dominance, 7 Mr. Olympia titles, a redefinition of aesthetics, the global popularization of bodybuilding. On the other, a man who often stepped over others. Psychological warfare, infidelity, contradictions between words and actions. This paradox isn't unique to Arnold. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player ever, was also known for his massive ego and harsh treatment of teammates. Lance Armstrong, a cancer survivor who inspired millions, became the face of one of the biggest doping scandals in history. These stories show us that brilliance in one area doesn't erase darkness in another. So the real question isn't whether Arnold was flawless. It's whether we're capable of understanding his legacy in full, with both light and shadow. Can we draw inspiration from his work ethic, his discipline, his courage, while acknowledging his weaknesses, failures, and moral compromises? In today's world, separating personal integrity from public success is harder than ever. Social media, documentaries, constant exposure, everything brings hidden details to the surface. And yet, people still crave role models. For many, Arnold became one, despite his flaws. And perhaps that's what makes him exceptional. This isn't just a story about muscles and posing, it's a story about a man with immense talent and an equally immense ego, a man who inspired and disappointed, a man who remained relevant even after scandal. Maybe that's the answer. We don't admire Arnold because he was perfect. We admire him because he was real, because he conquered the world while carrying his own demons. In the final part, we'll try to close this story, to look at what we can take from it and why Arnold Schwarzenegger remains one of the most influential figures in sports and society. Arnold Schwarzenegger turned bodybuilding into a global language. He didn't just dominate competitions, he changed how the world views the sport. Thanks to him, a bodybuilder became a celebrity. And through his transition into film, politics, and business, he proved that an empire can be built from the body. But what truly makes him fascinating isn't just his success, it's his contradictions. Arnold was built to win. Genetics, discipline, ego, vision. That combination made him unstoppable, but it also carried risk. In his pursuit of success, he crossed lines, manipulated, deceived, and chose paths others wouldn't. It's a story about how closely greatness and downfall can coexist, how difficult it is to maintain balance at the very top, and how easily an idol can lose shine without losing greatness. Today, Arnold speaks more openly about his mistakes than ever before. He admits he wasn't a perfect husband or father. He has called the affair with his son's mother the biggest mistake of his life. And yet, perhaps because of that honesty, he has retained the respect of millions. Not because he was perfect, but because he faced his failures. That's what makes him stronger. Because being a legend doesn't mean being flawless. It means having the courage to live fully, with both light and shadow. And Arnold did exactly that. He showed us that muscles aren't enough, that what you carry inside matters just as much. And that true success isn't only about trophies, but about what remains after them. Today, he is over 75 years old. He still trains, still inspires, still divides opinion. But that's what legends do. They leave a mark, not always comfortable, but always undeniable. Whether you see him as an athlete, an actor, or a politician, Arnold is exceptional in one thing: he never chose the easy path. He never settled for average. And that's why he entered history, as someone will remember long after the final bodybuilding title passes to someone else. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your opinion. Is Arnold a flawless legend, or an extraordinary winner with shadows that can't be ignored? Personally, I have immense respect for Arnold. I admire what he achieved in sport, in film, and in life. This video is not meant to attack or sensationalize. I just wanted to show the full picture as it truly is. Because the stories of great men are often more complex than they first appear. Let me know who or what you'd like the next video to be about. Personalities, topics, or questions from the world of bodybuilding, fitness, or sports in general. I'm Andra. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.